Hello and welcome to We Welcome Your Teams, a podcast about the most unique job in sport, football stadium announcers. So welcome to the fifth season of We Welcome Your Teams, a podcast about the most unique job in sport, which is football stadium announcers. My name's Rich Hurst. I do it at West Bromwich Albion, and alongside me is my regular co-host, now 23 years and counting in as the voice of Old Trafford, Alan Keegan. How are you, Alan?
Well, I'm very well indeed, thank you, Rich. And yes, it's been an interesting few weeks at Old Trafford, and away as well.
I've read about it. I've read about it in the Manchester Evening News. I've read about it in the Manchester programme. There's features on Alan Keegan's 23rd year as the. I mean, he just can't help these things anymore.
Well, it's like a bus stop. You know, they've done nothing for years, and then the local Evening News want to speak to me about it, and then the club with absolutely no connection, they wanted to do a feature, but I have to say, the club did me proud, actually. It was a double-page spread, brilliant little feature by Joe, the lad who did it from United Media. And, you know, I was very pleased with it, to be honest. It was a nice little feature.
It was nice. It's been a strong start to the season for a few of our announcers. Our guest at the end of last season, Alex Kirkley, has been to the European Super Cup representing Manchester City. Some really interesting videos on his Instagram of him sitting down with the Sevilla announcer. Our mate Dominic Walker at Burnley was a feature on Sky Sports for the opening game of the season when Burnley hosted Man City. But it's our guest this episode who I think should have had a bit more attention, if you ask me, because his side had a flying start to the season. So let's bring him out to the team, the tune that his team walks out to. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the voice of Brighton and Hove Albion, Richard Reynolds. Rich, welcome.
Well, now, I'm sorry to start on a downer.
Oh, no. Oh, God, he's going to start on a downer.
But it's an immediate red card for talking over Sussex by the Sea. Okay, that is not allowed, ever. So that's a red card. Okay. And you've got a 3-match ban for fading it out. Okay?
Can I reduce that by fading it back up?
It's set in stone. Ooh. I can't talk when it's on.
Sorry, okay.
I'm not allowed to talk when it's on.
It's gone.
That is the one thing that is set in stone, that we play it in entirety, it never gets faded, and we never talk over it.
That's amazing.
Wow.
God.
Amazing.
And these are the standards we're setting here, Rich. I like that.
So, you've just really made me feel quite unwell doing that. But, it's a thing. I mean, last season, when we had Manchester City... Alan, came down and we had to give them a guard of honour because it was the next match after them winning the Premier League. We were trying to figure out how to fit all this into the tight schedule. You've got to kick off, the Premier League schedule. And we had the Sussex by the Sea, the Premier League anthem. We had to do a walkout with them and some music for them coming out, all this sort of stuff. And the TV people said, well, just fade the Sussex by the Sea, just that'll save you 45 seconds. We're like, not happening, can't happen, never has happened, and will not happen. It just doesn't happen. We have to play it in its entirety. I can't talk over it. I can't say anything. And what happens is it's the band of the Coldstream Guards playing an old tune, good old Sussex by the Sea. I don't know the history of it at the club, but it's been played at the club right back in the Golden days. It's the club tune. And we play it as the teams come out. It welcomes the pitch teams of Manchester United and Brighton and Hove Albion, and it gets played. And then the crowd sing. There are words for it, old word, and the crowd sing. And then one match, a few seasons back, we were halfway through it, and the audio system died. So it went off, but the crowd carried on singing the song, and so now we've incorporated. It's brilliant. We play it for about 45 seconds, and then when the last verse comes in, then we dip it, and the crowd just sing it on their own. Wow. And it's really quite hair raising. So there it is. But good old Sussex by the Sea. So we spend that hour before the match, and certainly that 10 minutes before kickoff, ramping up, the big tunes. Here it comes, boom, 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 and everything, blah, blah, blah. And then the band of the Coldstream can't come on and play that brass band piece of music, but it's tradition.
Yeah, exactly. You could argue it's a change in tone, but I don't think anyone would argue with that. And I love the fact that it has to be played because we know how often, that, like you say, that schedule in the build up to kickoff is such a nightmare, especially Premier League when so much is orchestrated and needs to be done.
Yeah, and we've in the past, we're lucky. I'm sure we'll come on to music and stuff, but we've very lucky with Fatboy Slim being such a big part of Brighton and Hove Albion. There was a big discussion about, can Norman do a remix of it? Let's get it pumped up a bit, and Norman will just do a big beat remix for us. And then it became, no, but that's not it. A Norman Cook remix of it is not Sussex by the Sea. It's not our traditional song. It may be, a military brass band playing, but it's ours and we're going to stick with it.
I love that.
Well, and here's the other thing I've just remembered. So for those who may not know, a very brief history of Brighton and Hove Albion in the more recent time. Back in sort of the late 90s, they beat off 6 High Court winding up orders. They were in terrible state and had no money whatsoever. And they went, you may remember, 1 goal away from being out of the Football League. An away match at Hereford United ended up 1-1, and that relegated Hereford out of the Football League instead of Brighton on goals scored, I think it was back then. So they'd had a terrible time. Then they sold the Goldstone ground, and so they had nowhere to play. So they played for a couple of years at Gillingham's ground, which meant it was a 150-mile round trip to go for a home match. It was 2,500 hardy fans. Well done to them. Terrible football. 150 miles to go and watch your team and come back into Brighton. So it was desperate to get the Albion back into Sussex, and that's when they ended up at the Withdean Stadium, which was, and still is, a council athletics track. It's a council athletics track with one stand down one side that holds about 1,000 people, some squash courts at the back and a load of porter cabins, long jump pits, the whole lot. It's basically a municipal thing. So Brighton fought to get back to this place, and it's in a very well-to-do area of Brighton and Hove called Withdean. And so the council said, right, we'll let you come back, but this can't be forever. And it couldn't be forever because it was only 6,000 people could go there. They built a stand on the opposite side that was miles from the pitch, no roof, not a single roof. The guys who sat through the rain for season after season, it was incredible support. But part of the deal was, from the council, you can have this stadium, but no one's allowed to park within a mile of it. So you've got to park and walk a mile, and you are not allowed on match days any music. Okay, there's no music on match days because it's in a posh area. All right. Apart from good old Sussex by the Sea. Wow. We'll let you have that. Because it was like, no, we have to have this piece of music. Yeah. The team has to come out to this music. Oh, and so they said, right, it's a minute. We made a 1:03 version of it. Cut it down, and they said, right, you can have that, but you can have no more music.
I can just hear it playing on those athletics track style tannoy systems. The really tinny. You can just hear it being played on that. Oh,
yeah, it was just like that. Just like that. Terrible place. We used to call it, because you could see out, because there was no roof, you could see at the back of these beautiful gardens with these. So you've got the Theatre of Dreams, and that was the Theatre of Trees, it used to be called. The Theatre of Trees, the Withdean Stadium. But it was a lovely lifeboat that helped the Albion get back to where they are now. Yeah, it's incredible to think that 20 years later they're in the Premier League.
So when did your journey with them start as the stadium announcer?
Well, so it's interesting you ask that now, because I actually presented on the pitch before I was sort of involved with the club at the first match back, which was in 1999 at the Withdean Stadium, when they beat the first match back in Sussex. They beat Mansfield 6-0. And I was, like a lot of the guys that you've spoken to in the past, I was working in radio. And so I was working for Southern FM then, which was the big regional Sussex-based radio station. And Brighton and Hove Albion coming back from Kent, from Gillingham, was the big news of the town. It was the biggest thing in the county, and so we were the biggest radio station. We wanted to get behind it. So myself and the breakfast show girl were asked to go and G up the crowd. Can you come on the pitch before the match, welcome the fans back to Sussex. The 3,500 who managed to get a ticket, welcome them back. You know, it's going to be a big day, and there was all sorts of stuff going on. And so we did that before the match, and then. And this is my very first time ever doing it I was really nervous in front of a football crowd. I didn't really know a lot of the Albion tunes or anything, or the songs or anything that they were going to be singing or what have you. But we got away with it. The teams came out. The first half was going very well. And then I thought, we're done. And this is, you know, what we all hate is when things get thrown at us. You know. Well, I hate when things. I like to be a bit prepared. I don't know about you, Rich and Al, but I like a bit of preparation.
Oh yeah.
But so I was sitting in the sort of press box area with the match going on, and one of the Brighton and Hove Albion staff came over and said, "Kenneth Wolstenholme is here. He's a guest of the chairman, and the chairman would like you to interview him at half time." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Fair enough. I'm trying to think. I don't even think there was internet. I mean, none of us had internet back in 19. It might have just been coming in. I don't think we had it on our phones. So I'm like, well, obviously I know him from, you know, some people are on. They think it's all over. It is now in the World Cup, you know, and a TV commentator. But I don't know much more about him. So I said, okay, well, look. About 5 minutes before the end of the first half, get him to the halfway line, get him to the thing, and I'll come and meet him and I'll have a chat with him. So we meet up on the halfway line. He's obviously been enjoying the chairman's hospitality, shall we say. He was a nice fella. And I said, well, look, at halftime, I'm going to walk you out to the centre circle. And I think this is a lesson in don't overthink stuff. Don't just keep it simple, you know, keep it simple, stupid. But I was thinking, what can I say to this guy? I don't really. So I had in my mind, and this is the first time I've ever done an on-pitch thing or interviewed anyone. So I had it in my mind. I said, well, what I'm going to do is we'll walk out and I'll introduce you on the centre circle. And I'll say to you, well, it's a momentous day back here at the Withdean Stadium. What would you think? And this is the worst sentence anyone's ever put together, okay? I'll say to you, I have to think about it now. I'll say to you, what would you think the Albion fans are thinking about not having to make that 150-mile round trip to watch the Seagulls? And you'll say they think it's all over. Oh. It is now. The place will erupt, and it'll be and off we go. You'll say, what do you think? They don't have to do this trip. What do you think they're thinking? They think it's all over. It is now. What a brilliant thing. Okay, right, you got that? Fantastic. So we're walking out. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, at 3-0 at half-time. Now the action's coming up 15 minutes' time. We've got a very special guest here on this very special day at the Withdean Stadium. None other than the TV legend, of course, commentator Kenneth Wolstenholme. Kenneth, lovely to have you here. Well, what a day for the album. Now, listen, what do you think? What do you think all these Albion fans are thinking about not having to do that 150-mile round-trip journey to watch the Seagulls? Well, I guess they're very pleased. Hang on, mate. No, wait. No, but bear with me. But in your own words, Mr. Wolstenholme, in your own words, what do you think they're thinking about not having to do that very long journey anymore? They must be delighted. And I just stopped it there. Ladies and gentlemen, Kenneth Wolstenholme. And I just walked him off the pitch. And I walked him off the pitch and said goodbye and just left it in the hands of someone. And I thought, wow, that was my first ever thing on a football pitch in front of a live crowd. And from now on, I won't do that again. I won't do that again.
And hey, they had you back.
They got me back. So yeah, and then there was a relationship with the football club and the radio station for a while. Then I moved to the BBC, so I used to do the after the fans phone in. The BBC fans phone in after a match. Used to do that live from the Withdean Stadium. So I was always around in the media thing, and I knew the media guys pretty well. And then when the new stadium they won got the permission to build the wonderful American Express Stadium. It all started from there, and I'd always said, look, and again, that was the biggest show in town. This was an amazing thing that was happening. This incredible stadium was being built, and my radio time was sort of coming to an end, but I wanted to get involved. I remember being on holiday in Cyprus, I think it was, and someone phoned me up and said there's an advert in the local paper for the stadium announcer.
Wow!
And they did it at the Albion. They put it out. They put it out as I don't know whether it was an HR thing that they had to do it, but they put it out. So I quickly phoned up the communications director and said, "Oh mate, I'm on holiday. Don't give this job away until He said, "Don't worry, interviews are in a couple of weeks." So so I went in. I did a proper interview, but not like the guys with the microphones. I went into an office, had a board in front of me, a 3-member board, and I made a proposal. I had proposals to give them all. Document here, done this. There you are.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did it say on this magical proposal?
Their asses off at me. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say. I don't know how sweary we can get. They laughed. Well, you've done a proposal. Oh my God, let's have a look at this. Oh, Richard Reynolds, a media specialist. No, look at your history and all this. They go, don't worry, Rich, you got the job. Fair enough.
Oh, so no trial by microphone, as we've heard a few of the other guys.
It was really weird. No trial. Well, the thing was,
I suppose they know your voice. They know, don't they?
They know my voice, but none of it worked. There wasn't any of it working. We couldn't do it. They were building the stadium. I remember just before the first league match, it was chaos. It was bedlam. Obviously, you're building a stadium. Nobody knows what. So I was getting everything organised. We were getting everything organised, and what we're doing on Saturday and what have you. And then someone just said to me, "Well, it's going to, Rich, you're going to be the first voice that comes out of on the stadium. First thing anyone's going to hear for a league match. What are you going to say?" And I hadn't thought about it, and it threw me into a spin because I was so busy doing all the other stuff. I thought, I haven't even thought about what do you say to start the whole thing off. And I thank you to lovely Paul. I think it was Paul that I nicked it off at Spurs. But they used to say, they always used to start their show with, "Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to White Hart Lane, the world famous home of the Spurs. Today we welcome the players, officials and supporters of Manchester United for this premiere." So I just copied it. So I just thought, okay, well, that's good enough. And so the very first thing I said, and 12 years later still say every match, is, "Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome along to the American Express Stadium, the fabulous home of the Albion. Today we welcome the players, officials and supporters of Manchester United for this Premier League match, which kicks off at 3:00. Then you're off.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Do you do the same thing every week? Do you do that?
To be fair, it's fairly standard because it's one of those things where, a bit like you, really, it works, and I've never really changed it. The only thing that we're not doing for the foreseeable future, and we started to introduce this at the end of last season, the last 3 games. So I do the first team read at about, if it was a 3:00 kickoff, then say 50 minutes before. Once we've got it the hour before and you can start going through it, I do both teams, and I welcome the away team, with courtesy and respect. So, welcome to our visitors, Brighton and Hove Albion, blah, blah, blah. And then I'll go through them, and then I'll go through them. But what we're not doing now, at the sort of point of where the teams have come out just before the kickoff, we're not doing the away team anymore.
We don't. Well, we do. We just do starting 11s.
Yeah, starting 11s.
But do you just do Brighton and Hove Albion?
Just before kickoff.
Yeah.
No, we do both.
Yeah.
But Brighton and Hove Albion have got walk-ons on the screen, but we just rattle through the away.
Through the away team. Yeah. I think we've been set pretty much, our welcome is about 10 past, 20 past 2 with everybody. So hi to everybody, into the match sponsors, the mascots, because the kids are out at that point, they're out playing on the pitch. So we kind of give them a shout. Normally their parents are standing right by us, so I can get the parents to kind of cheer, because we almost do reading the mascot's name out as if it's a team read. Because then we do the team read straight after as well, with all the subs and everything then. And then, just before kickoff, it's just the 2 11s, but rattle through the away and then pick up that.
Do you know what I did? I was thinking about it, knowing that I was coming on here. For about 4 years, I learnt all the mascots' names. pre-match, I would get a list of the mascots' names and I would learn them. It was the trickiest part of my day. I'd be sitting in the restaurant, but getting fed and watered. Sorry, and I'd just be you got to leave me alone. I've got to remember these 13 kids' names. Okay. I'm test me here. Are they called? And I used to go through it. And then we used to do the mascot bit on camera on the screens and everything. Oh, we're down here by the tunnel. Here is today's mascots, and we've got. And the lucky thing is they're all called Alfie. Yeah. They're all Alfie or Harrison. So we've got Alfie, Harrison, Ollie, Alfie, Harrison, and Ollie and Annabelle. And the away mascot is I don't know. But then one of the cameramen, Nick, who's actually mainly my cameraman, just said, "Why? When you're reading out the names, you're not in vision. I'm showing the mask. I'm showing the little kids. You can have a piece of paper in front of you. Just read it." I don't know, for 5 years I've been learning these kids' names. It's never been shown. So he said, I keep going.
It's really, we're afraid of offending the kids by having to read their names. Children. Exactly, we will know you, and you will be part of our match day. Oh, bless them.
But I know. I'm sorry if I'm rabbiting on, but it's this. This is like, you remember that fantastic. I don't know how much time we've got. We're going to run out of time. Do you remember there was that Japanese soldier who never realised the Second World War was over?
Yeah.
He was on a Pacific island and he thought he never saw anyone. He thought and then someone had to come over and say, "The war's over, mate. We lost 40 years ago," or whatever. Like, this is like this for me today. For 20 years, I've been out in the wilderness, not knowing how to do this job, and now I've got you two there. I'm just taking all this advice and soaking it in from you. People, you're my clan, my creed. It's like, at last someone else can tell me how to do this thing, because we have no idea.
We still don't. It's fine. It's all right. We help each other out.
But there's a lot of talk on this podcast about sort of how up for it you get, and what do you wind up the away fans and all this sort of thing. And we've always just been really nice. And I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, and I don't know whether we should be more. This might make you cringe here, but for certainly when we opened the Amex, for a number of years, and I don't know whether it still happens, in the away end, we put a beer from. If it was Sunderland, Vaux beer used to come in for them. We used to the lighting system would change in the away end, so it was red and white, and we used to project in the away end pictures of their legends up in the concourse for the away fans.
It's very courteous.
And this, believe it or not, we used to play a song for the away fans.
Really?
We used to play a song. Oh, and wait, I know. Now this is even worse. Up until about, and I don't know where this came in. This came in only in the last 5 years. It lasted about 2 seasons, and we don't do it anymore.
Right. Okay.
And I remember when it came to me, and it came one day in my ear. So right, well, here's the attendance. It's 31,453, of which there are 2,850 away fans. Oh, okay, so the attendance is 31,850. Yeah, but don't forget to mention the away fans. I went, we don't mention the away fans. We are doing that this season. And we started saying, and the official attendance this afternoon is 31,250, which includes 2,850 Aston Villa fans. Thank you all for your amazing support. And the away fans used to cheer and it'd be like, they're great. And then the socials are going crazy. Why are you giving them some support and stuff? It lasted about a season, and then it was like, well, we're not doing that anymore. And I'm like, whose idea? I don't understand why we did that at all.
Oh, I mean,
don't understand. As we know, Brighton is everybody's second favourite club. Okay, it's a lovely place to come. We're a really nice club, apart from Palace, obviously, and we're just nice. I don't rile anyone up, and we don't have a go, and we don't. There's never a point in my presentation where I'm screaming. We don't do any, come on, get behind the team, now's your chance. We don't do any of that. In fact, when we have done it, we get a lot of kickback from fans saying, we don't need to be told how to support our team. We don't need to be told how to get behind our side.
There's a thing.
You just get on with your job and we'll support our team. So we don't do any of that at all.
We've spoken to people who don't announce away goal scorers.
Oh, yeah.
So if the away team score, just nobody says anything, just we pretend it didn't happen. I'm a mumbler. So if the away team do score, then the score is
my way of doing it. I liken it to I announce the away team goals as if I was telling my wife I'd forgotten her birthday.
Yeah,
it's like goal for Crystal Palace, goodbye.
Yeah,
and I think that at the end of last season, when who was it? Everton came in. If someone scores when their 6th goal goes in, I don't bother.
Yeah,
I just don't bother. I don't do it on purpose, but I think I walked away. I didn't announce that 6th goal. I just
did anybody notice? I think those are the ways we kind of try and make the away team uncomfortable. We certainly I suppose we don't take part in any mockery, we don't take part in anything like that, but there are ways we can subtly just not acknowledge them.
I think again, going back to Paul from Spurs, he said it quite well. I mean, if you are on camera, there's nothing better than a cheeky wink or a bit of a grin down the. Let's take a look at the last time we played United, and that penalty, that Alexis McAllister penalty. Let's say you can do all that sort of stuff. But we're just nice. I think we're not too nice. I don't know if we're too nice, but we're just nice.
Have you got a good position then? Are you always pitch side with cameras and everything?
Well, so what I haven't explained is for the first sort of 4 or 5 years, I was just a bit like you, Rich. I was just the pitch side guy. I was just the in-camera pitch side guy, and we had other guys doing the voice of God, doing all the announcements. So I had an hour and a half show to do before kickoff, and then whatever was going on at half time, and that was all I did. So so after half time, I was done. It was great.
Oh, okay.
So for the first 4 or 5 years, I didn't have a seat. I just had to stand in the tunnel. I then got a seat, and now I'm front row, press box, front row above the tunnel, my own little screen, 3-course hot and cold running food, teas, coffees, cookies, you name it, it's all there. It's just lovely. Apart from basically 1:45, let's say, when we start, I don't get a stop really. So because we always do half time. So I don't, get a coffee or tea, or a steward might bring me one, which is very nice. And things. So yeah, right in front. And it was like, it's important for him to be there so that he can see what's going on in the tunnel. He can see the away subs getting ready. He can see, are they coming out, and all this sort of stuff. So yeah, it's a good position.
So now, you are the all-in-one announcing machine then, because depending on where you go, we've got, depending on who you speak to, there are music, DJs, voices of God, pitch side. So how all-encompassing is your role then?
So, well, all-encompassing. So even more. So I will. Talking of the music, I'll make about an hour and 15-minute mix for each match. I make that at home and I do it, and it's just like nice because it's just when the stadium opens till we get going. Yeah. And when we just press play and off we go for our banquet. But see, Al, how does it work with you, Alan? Because obviously the tunnel is in the corner and you're right at the halfway. So
basically the pre-match stuff all happens. Sort of that centerpiece is the old tunnel, so there's a lot of history with that.
Right.
It's all about Matt Busby designed it with a slant and a run down, so that when the players used to come down it, they had to run out. It wasn't flat; it was on a slope. But so there's a lot of history there. But yeah, so I'll do all the pre-match stuff before I go then to what we call the players' tunnel. Maybe 1:45, 10 to the hour. And then just do all the rest of the stuff from there. So, yeah, it's pretty formatted at United. And, we've got a situation now where we've got the Stretford End. A couple of years ago, they opened it up that if you wanted to apply and move seats, you could go into the sort of what was the family stand to try and, I think it's to create a bigger and better atmosphere. So you can apply to go in, and it's... there's a group in there called the TRA, the Red Army, and basically they're absolutely brilliant on the away games. I mean, our away support is just unreal, and I think they're trying to adapt that now and adopt it into the stadium on a match day at Old Trafford. So 15 minutes to the hour we sort of turn off everything from the music to me doing announcements, and we leave it to them.
Oh, wow.
As Rich says, my sort of 2:55, 2:54, 2:56 minute or moment comes then. But up to them, we leave it to them to sort of sing and bring on United and all the rest of it, you know. So, yeah, we've tried a few things slightly different over the end of last season and this season.
Mm-hmm. So look, Rich, proudest moment so far on the mic at Brighton. Obviously, the main reason we have you here is because you met Al at the FA Cup semi-final last year. But what about before that?
Yeah, so I've done a couple of FA Cup semi-finals. We did City and United, so they were okay. I mean, it's not. It was fun. The thing about the FA Cup semi-finals were that. On FA, because it's oh no, I can get in trouble for saying this, because we hadn't been in an FA Cup semi-final for a while. Brighton took the Box Park, you know, the Wembley Box Park, big, you know, venue, yep. And it became like a home. So actually, it was such hard work. We were working from. We started broadcasting and doing a show from there from 10 o'clock in the morning. So I think Alan at the Man United, the recent one, I think our kickoff was at 5:30. It might have been, but it was either 5:30 or 4. But I remember being on stage in the Box Park, watching people drinking pint after pint at 10:30 in the morning, thinking this doesn't kick off till 5:30, lads. Mm-hmm. You have got no hope. But so it was this, 4 hours of show and interviewing people, wow. And interviewing ex-players and all this sort of stuff. And then you've got to get up to Wembley. So by the time I met you, Alan, and by the time you get up to do your bit, it's like I'm exhausted. Yeah. I don't want to do it, but obviously it's great to do. And they changed it this time around. When we did it for City, it was nice to go to your own end and be we were standing with your fans behind you. And this time they just kind of had us at the halfway line and just said, just read out the team news and that's it. Don't say very much and away you go. So, a great thing to do. Yeah. One of the proudest moments is obviously one of the saddest moments in the history of the club and the Amex was that there was the Shoreham air show disaster in August 2015, the Shoreham big air show, and a jet plane crashed onto the A27, which is one of the main routes across the south from Kent to Southampton. One of the main routes, and killed 11 people. Exploded on the road and killed 11 people. Two of which, one of them worked for the club, one of them worked for the Albion, was one of the groundsmen, young lads, and the other one had been involved a lot with the club. And so it was a terrible thing, and then we weren't at home for a couple of weeks, and the club did the most wonderful tribute to the 11 who lost their lives, and the 2 that were very important to the club. And in fact, in the 2 weeks leading up to that, actually the club were brilliant with all the families. A shout out to all the players, but particularly David Stockdale, who was the goalkeeper at the time, and Gordon Greer was the captain, who were magnificent with the families of the bereaved, and Albion fans. So we did this before the whole game. We did this sort of 40-minute tribute, which I obviously was hosting. And it just involved moving a lot of people around the pitch, being in the right place at the right time, 2 enormous shirts coming out, being held by 40 people on each side of the pitch, an opera singer, all the first responders, the good and the great of the area, and everyone. And it just involved a lot of moving around, being in the right place, and getting a choreography right. And we went through it the night before and sort of nailed it down, and then we went through it in the day, and then we got that all sorted. And then I thought, I haven't thought about what I'm going to say, and so I was sitting in the press room restaurant and I was scribbling away, writing down these script, and I was getting into a bit of a fluster, and I was, so can you leave me alone? I just think, like, oh God, I don't think I've got time to write all this. And to this day, I don't know who it was, but I got a feeling he was a BBC cameraman. And he knew me because he came over and said, well, Rich, what's up? And I said, oh God, I've been so busy getting this thing, I haven't got a clue what I'm going to do, what I'm going to say, and I'm trying to write this bloody script. And he said, look, you don't have to write it. He said, do you normally use a script on match day? And I said, well, no. He said, well, it's no different. He said, it's no different. He said, just what you need to do is, when the camera goes on you, you need to know what you're going to start saying, and you need to know where this link is going, how are you going to end this link. And then he said to me, and again, you don't get advice from anyone, and he said, but just take a breath and say it slower than you normally would.
3 weeks ago today, everyone in the county and indeed the country was shocked to hear of the loss of 11 lives on the A27 at Shoreham. It's really affected the whole of the county and indeed the whole of the country in what has turned out to be a terrible 3 weeks. Today, we remember all those who died in that tragic incident, and our thoughts and prayers are with their friends and families who have been devastated by their loss. Whilst we reflect on all those who died, here at the Albion, we particularly remember 2 young Worthing United footballers who had strong links to this club. Matt Grimstone had worked for the Albion for the past 7 years, helping out at the Withdean Stadium on match days before completing his apprenticeship to become an integral part of the grounds team here at the Amex and at the Elite Performance Centre in Lancing. Jacob Schilt was a talented footballer who had played for the Brighton side in 3 Robert Eaton Memorial Fund matches, helping to raise thousands of pounds for charity. We will miss them both dearly.
It was an awful day that none of us wish ever happened, but it went very, very well, which was nice. And on the upside, we've done some England under 21s there, and a Lionesses match last year that was a nightmare. It was the Lionesses against the Czech Republic women. Those names, oh boy. And it was really hard to research what the squad was for the Czech Republic under 21. Sorry, it wasn't the under 21, it was the full team, the Czech Republic women's team. So I grabbed this Czech coach. So just a guy in a tracksuit in a Czech crowd. I said, can you help me with these team names? And I had the team sheet in front of me. And they were literally half a dozen, 10 of them were, you pronounce their name, nothing how it was written. One of those. And I was just scribbling their names down. And it's the only time I did the team, and let's start with our visitors from Czechia, I think we were calling them back then, I still do. And I did 30 names, and I got a round of applause. There was a round of applause for the away, for me reading out the away team before I got onto the Lionesses. It's the only time anyone's ever clapped me doing the away team. It was crazy. It was just like, oh man, that was mad. So those are nice. Those are nice when you get to do those sort of things. I'll tell you, just back in the early days, going about making mistakes. Are you allowed on the pitch?
Yeah.
So we used to do our opening for 4 or 5 seasons. We used to start every match day on the centre circle. Okay, and then we walk around. And then I can't. It's lost in the mist of times, but we were told, can you keep off the pitch? Now, we used to do the opening link right on the centre spot. And I'm on the centre spot this one match, can't remember who it was, standing there, got my cameraman Nick in front of me, we're chatting away, and they've got a guy and me going, right, two minutes on these ads, Rich, yeah, okay, no worries. Anyway, so what are you doing after? I don't know, blah, 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 blah. Minute and a half, yeah, fine, okay, no. Right, so we're going to do good afternoon, welcome to America, the Albion, today we welcome, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And okay, let's do the team news for the first time this afternoon. Okay, fine. And right, 30 seconds, yeah, good. Right, so Nick puts his camera up, he's on, he's looking at me, and they've got, we've got vision, all right, coming to you in 3, 2, 1. And over my cameraman's shoulder, I can see my big ugly face come up on the big screen that's facing me. Do I have a microphone? No, I do not have a microphone. My microphone is 150 yards away where I left it in the tunnel. So I'm on the screen going, like, oh, hello. Wait, I'm like mouthing, wait, and running off the pitch. Running, grabbing this microphone, run back onto the pitch. The gallery, I mean, thank God my boss is a mate, but they have gone crazily insane. He hasn't got his mic, he hasn't got. So, you know how many times I've done that since? Never.
Zero. Absolutely zero.
You do it once. You do it once, and then you never ever do it again. I never ever do it again.
Dare we ask if that is the worst clanger you've dropped?
I think that's got to be up there.
Well,
hasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Not having your microphone.
Yeah.
And we did one where there was, again, things being thrown out that you don't know. In a match is underway, I'm sitting in the press box, and then the production manager talks to me, Rich, there's a halftime interview we didn't know about. Oh, okay, who is it? It's Gordon Smith, ex-Albion player, lovely guy, famous for, and Smith must score in the Man United. We should have beaten Man United in '83. Lovely guy. And another player that he's with, but we don't know who it is. And I'm like, well, how do I find out who it is? And he said, oh, the head of press knows who it is. So this match is going on, and I'm crawling on all fours around the press box now to find him, so I'm not in everyone's way. I'm on all fours. Paul, there's a halftime interview. Oh, yeah, the chairman wants you to do this halftime interview. Yeah, it's Gordon Smith, and who is it? And who's the other person? And he went, oh, he told me, but I've forgotten. Right. And I went, okay, thanks. So I've talked about it. I said, right, lads, here's the deal. We don't know who this other guy is, but I'll try and figure. Now, looking back now, 6 years ago, looking back with 6 years gone by, it's like, why didn't you just ask? But when you're in the moment,
it feels horrible.
You're awkward, and you don't know, and you're in the moment, and and I didn't do it. So I went down, and they'd been brought out by someone from marketing, and there they are waiting for me. And I know Gordon, and I recognised him. And I said, hey, Gordon, nice to see you. Didn't know you were coming. And he went, oh, no, well, it's great. We'll have a quick chat. And I thought, I said, what's it like to see this old fella again then? To Gordon, thinking he may say the chap's name to me.
Nice, yeah.
And he said, oh, it's great to see him. I haven't seen him for ages. And I went, well, lovely to see him. To the guy who we don't know who it is. I said, hi, I'm Richard. I'm the thing. We'll be doing an interview in about a minute. And he went, oh, no, that's fine. I said, have you been to the Amex before? I haven't seen you before. And he went, no, I just flown in from Copenhagen. So now I've got on my thing, said, lads, he's Danish, right? So they're up in the gallery. They're all Googling. They're all ex-Danish players that played in the 90s for the Albion, like this sort of stuff, right? So then, but time ran out. They didn't get it to. So time's ran out. So this has gone down in the Albion in folklore. So I've started half-time here at the Amex, then all the second half action on the way in about 15 minutes' time. And now some very special guests. In fact, two guests who literally need no introduction. That's what I said. That's what I said. Two guests who literally need no introduction. Gordon, welcome along, Gordon. Oh, great. Thanks for that. Blah, 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 Gordon. So lovely to see you. Now, and I said, tell us about what it was like playing with this fella. And wanting him to say, oh, Bjorn was we front to back midfielder, or scored so many great goals. And he went, oh, the big man was amazing. Like there was a big man was amazing. Of course, that team around that time was great. We had Jimmy Case, and we had Jimmy Case. And anyway, and I spoke to this, right, well, let's have a chat with the big man then. Yeah. Lovely to see you. Where have you come in from? I've come in from Denmark today. Oh, what's your memories of playing with Gordon? Oh, well, of course, when I played with Gordon, one of my favourite matches. And now they're going in my ear. It's either Bjorn Svensson or it's either Sven Bjornsson. And I'm like, well, that doesn't help me. It really doesn't help me. So at the end of it, we got away with it. Just so, ladies and gentlemen, two fantastic legends. Give them a round of applause. And to this day, we do not know who that man was. We don't know who it is. We still don't know who he was. No idea. I did a whole interview with him and I still don't know who he was. Wow. It just goes to show, if you just keep it generic, what was it like? What do you think of the Amex? What did you make of the first half?
I love trying to feed everyone in the gallery the clues.
Yeah, exactly. I could hear them all. He's Danish. Oh my God almighty. Crazy.
Being dropped in it. Wow.
Yeah,
well
sometimes I want only once, because I only make mistakes once introduced the wrong team. I don't know why, and I can't remember who it was, but I think it might have been Luton, but it might have been Cambridge. Anyway, now, please welcome, being led out by this afternoon's officials, please welcome to the pitch. And I saw the away team were in orange, and I just got Blackpool in my mind because they were wearing orange. Please welcome to the pitch the teams of Blackpool and Brighton Hove Albion. And then everyone's in my ear, mate, it's Luton. I'm like, I don't know. What do you do? Do you correct yourself and just do it like it's never happened and you just carry on?
It's one of the biggest anxieties I carry every match, because that is, excuse me, that's the biggest moment. That's the biggest moment. That's your, none of that can be wrong, and you certainly can't, once you've done it, get everyone to walk back in the tunnel and do it again.
Sorry,
every time.
Go back and we'll do that again.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't do it. So I think you just have to carry on as if, and because you're about to. I know I'm about to correct myself, but going right. We'll start with the visitors. Luton. Here's the 11. Yeah. So you'll say it and you'll correct it then. But I'm petrified of doing it in that big moment, or catching myself and going, well, it says Swansea, but that's blatantly not Swansea. Yeah.
And the worst thing, of course, is that we've got a new player. The Albion have got a new player this season called Simon Adingra, and I hadn't had a chance. I hadn't met him, and I'm very much one of these people who'll go up to someone and say, "Hi, I'm Richard. How do you want me to say your name?" I mean, a lot of people go, "We don't even know," and there's that crazy Premier League thing that you can look at where they all say their names, don't there? There's a portal.
Oh, is there? It's nice of the Premier League.
It's hilarious because then you get people like Lewis. Dunk. Okay, we got that one.
Yeah, I think we're right on that one.
March. Yeah, we're fine with Solly March. It's fine. But yeah, there's a portal you can go back and never be. I just go and ask him because I introduce myself to him. So we've got a new. So then I hadn't had a chance to see Simon Adingra, but one of the coaches, Andrew Crofts, was walking. I said, Crofty, what is he, Simon or Simon or what is it? And he said, I think we call him. I think he's Simon. I went, okay, I'll go with that then. So he came on as a sub, and making his home debut for the Albion. Please welcome to the pitch, Simone Adingra.
Simone! Oh!
Muddled up between Simon and Simone, and I was like, Simone's coming on the pitch. The new player's a girl. Okay, I apologise for that.
Oh, brilliant.
I'll only do it once.
Yeah, exactly.
Really do.
I know. Look, I need to give a quick shout out at this point to a couple of the other guys who've been in touch with the pod who just have had some very odd experiences at the start of the season. So I don't know if you heard about this. I don't know if anyone's had something similar. Dave Trumper at Pompey.
Oh, this was great.
Had to announce. He had to. Well, listen. I've got it here. Listen. This is him telling the story of what he had to do.
The players, the referee, all left the field. We weren't quite sure what was going on, but we have a guy down there who feeds back information. But on this occasion, he messaged up to me to make an announcement if any qualified officials in the ground could make themselves known. And that, I have to say, when he told me that, was a bit of a double take moment. So I radioed back. I said, are you sure? Is this, have I heard this right? But he confirmed that the referee had asked us to make that announcement. So I did. One of the strangest announcements I think I've ever had to make at the football. And then, of course, having continued with the original match clock rather than restarting the game at the 55th minute, that also meant a huge amount of stoppage time. So then another rather unusual announcement to me making, that the fourth official was indicated a minimum of 21 minutes added time, which I thought I'd never end up saying, even, in this new age of more stoppage time. Of course, a game like that could only end goalless, which it did, but I have to say it will live long in my memory.
So yeah, Dave had the incident where the backup lino was injured as well as the ref, so they had to get someone from the crowd out to do to run the line.
That's amazing.
Bonkers. I don't think I've never, I'm in the Albion almost 10 years now, but I've never had to do anyone from the crowd. Do you fancy a game? A few have suggested it, but that's just on some of the performances. But yeah,
if you're in the crowd, you definitely say, "Oh yeah, I'm qualified. Give us a go."
Yeah, well, I just get the fact, it turns out he's a Pompey fan. I mean, so when you run the it's like on Sundays, you give your team an offside and don't,
Exactly.
I thought that would be. And he makes another good point there, which I wanted to talk to you about, because we're at this early stage of the season, added time, and how everybody has felt when the first time they've been told that it's going to be like, I had 9 minutes at my first home game, and I just remember thinking, how's this going to go down?
I think everyone has an affectation. So if I'm doing added time, I'll say the fourth official has indicated there'll be a minimum of 9 minutes added time. Most stadium announcers I hear when I look on TV, they put it on. They do it twice, and I don't know why they do it. They feel like they need to do it twice. Fourth official has indicated there'll be a minimum of 9 minutes added time. 9 minutes added time, and it's like, why do you feel you have to say it twice? Everyone does it.
Well, I suppose the irony is, up until this point, it was never really that unbelievable. So when was it? So back 2 seasons ago, and instead there's going to be 3 minutes. I remember 3 minutes, all right. But now I guess now it's like there's going to be 9 minutes. What? How many did he say? 9 minutes? Yeah, he said.
Come on.
I don't know. I've always done it twice. Al?
No, never done it twice. Just
good man, Al. You and me. It's you and me.
Yeah, and it's actually the referee, not the fourth official. The referee has indicated. Yeah, that was in a script I got many years ago from the Premier League. It might have changed.
I'm making a note.
I'm making some notes.
So many questions to ask you about notes here.
Okay.
It's the referee has indicated, because he tells the fourth official, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But the fourth official waves the board, doesn't he? So we give him the credit because he's doing the board waving.
Yeah, but it's the referee who's indicated.
I suppose technically, we'll have to change the announcement, but the fourth official via the referee has indicated a minimum. I might try that next home game, see if anyone really, again, if anybody notices, if they can hear what we're saying. Yeah. Well, look, chaps, can you believe the podcast is now in its 5th season? And once again, delighted to be partnering with the team at Shoot Music. Now, if you go to sportplaylists.com, you'll find music from all over the world of sport, interviews with matchday DJs at stadiums from around the world, and the all-important stadium chart covering the biggest tunes as played in those stadia. So for our 5th season, Rich, we would like you to pick 5 tunes from your matchday playlist that you can't go without. So what have you got for us?
One of you, I think it was the lad from Sheffield United, was talking about a song. There's a song called Wolf by a group called Wolf Mother called Joker and the Thief.
Sheffield United, that is Gary at Sheffield United. Yeah,
Gary. He kept calling them Wolf Father, I think, but anyway. So for many years we did this brilliant. It's an incredible tune, and it was a half hour. We did it half hour before kickoff, and our brilliant production team made this fantastic video that went with the music of 2 lads in a pub in Brighton polishing off their drinks and getting into a train and getting to the stadium. It was all sped up, walking through the streets, getting blah, 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 and getting to the stadium, getting in the crowd, and then walking up to their seats. And we used to then appear with the camera as if we were walking up with them to the seats. But it was a big thing. It's like a call to arms, isn't it? It's like when you do a radio show, like a breakfast show, everything should be at the same time, because people judge. They don't need a time. They know, if he's the travel news, if I'm not here by the travel news, I'm 10 minutes late, or I'm 5 minutes late, or he's normally doing the weather at this point. So it was that kind of thing. It was for everyone who's in the concourses, there's half an hour before kickoff. So it was like, and we used to do a big thing and go, and there's 30 minutes to kickoff, and point at the screen, and this music is this Wolf Mother used to come blaring out, and this brilliant video, these 2 lads making their way through the streets and on the train and everything to the stadium. So, we're lucky because anything by Fatboy goes down super well at Brighton.
A lot of teams use Right Here, Right Now. I think Arsenal still use Right Here, Right Now, don't they?
I think City had it as a hold as well, but it's ours, okay? Yeah. So just to let you know, Arsenal, City, everyone, it's ours, okay? You can have it, not really, but okay. So, and we play Praise You. There's a fantastic purple disco mix of Praise You, which I've done a short version of at the end if they've done really well. So we Praise You, anything by Fat Black. And we've also got Royal Blood, a big Brighton fan. So the Royal Blood song Figure It Out is amazing for a stadium. It's really, really, really good. And if we are going to drop other stuff in, a really weird one is A Message to You, Rudy, by the Specials. Everyone just loves it. I don't know why. It's a good song to sing along to, and they just go for it. There's a song by Fort Minor, I don't know if you know this, Rich. You won't know it, Al. You're my age. It's called "Remember the Name" by Fort Minor. It's like a rappy R&B song, but it's the one that goes, this is 10% skill, 50%. The players love it.
Oh, okay.
Footballers love it. It's a great tune. Check it out. Foo Fighters, "All My Life" is just really noisy. And then anything Chemical Brothers, "Hey Boy, Hey Girl," "Galvanise" is always quite nice.
Yes, nice. Well, you got some crackers in there. I think we'll get to making a new "We Welcome Your Teams" playlist on Spotify and put them all in there. And then as we go through this series, we'll have some absolute beauties in there, won't we? Remember, the place to see all the stuff Shoot Music put together is sportplaylists.com. And it's great that they're on board for this season again. So, Rich, I want to finish on this idea that we all have this incredible job. It's a one-off job. Technically, there are only, if you look at the league itself, there are 89 other people who get to do what we do on a match day. So what for you is the best thing about the job?
Oh gosh, that's such a tough. I mean, not part of the job, but the best thing about the job is getting to watch football for nothing, really. Or in fact, getting paid to watch football. I guess is one of the things, the best things. In fact, one of the last games of last season at the Amex was Albion against Man City, 1-1. Julio Enciso scored the Premier League and the match of the day goal of the season. We had at half time, we had an old player, Tom Ahmed, was coming out to be interviewed. And so I was sitting, the match was underway in the first half, and I was sitting in the press box and I was just checking my Tom Ahmed questions and just checking his stats, making sure I knew what I was going to say to him. And then I was keeping one eye on the game, and then a little sort of thing in my head just says, just stop what you're doing, put this down and watch this, because you're never going to see anything. It was the best football, and a lot of the I think Gary Neville said that was the best first half of Premier League football I have ever seen. And it was no offence, Alan, again, it was the best club side in the world going against a bunch of teenagers who just didn't care, and they went at each other. And for about 25 minutes, I just put my pen down, closed my folder, and just sat there watching it, going, "You'll never see this again. You'll be lucky if you get to see this again, and you're getting paid for it, and you're in the front row. Watch this." And it was just, it kind of made you think, wow, all the mistakes and all the what have you and everything, just to have the ability to be here is incredible. And I was going to say, the one thing that I think we all forget about is just how lucky we are, and how the fans in their life, if they get to meet a player once, they are over the moon. And we forget that these fans would do anything to have an autograph with Lewis Dunk or, can't think of any of your players now, and that's really terrible. I didn't mean that. Christian Eriksen. Yeah, Marcus Rashford, of course. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean it. But we're around them all the time. They're not, our best mates or anything, but we're around them all the time. And when you see people, you get there and you think, why are these people here so early? Why are they standing at the car park? Are they mad? Are they mad? No, it's because they don't ever get the opportunity to meet these players, and we do. And I just think you it's almost like we take that a bit for granted, that football is something that means so much to people. Life is really, really hard at the moment. It's really tough for lots and lots and lots of people. And if you can, for 90, or with our job, if for 2 hours you can make it a little bit better for them, then that's the great thing. We're part of making their life a little bit better, but we're not the part. We're the bit of the show, but we're not the show. Yeah. And what we can, navel gaze and think, we do this and we're all brilliant and that, but we're just the bit around it that helps. And the kids love it, and that's great, and the families love it, and they love the big 6-foot seagull with the ginger hair. They love this, they love the red devil. They love it. It's just part of the thing. But when they walk onto the pitch, that's the show. Yeah. And we're lucky to be there to watch it all, I think.
Very well said. Very well said. Rich, thank you very much. Pleasure to chat to you. Great to hear some stories, and great to...
It's been amazing to find my clan, my gang. Do I get to go on the WhatsApp now so I can ask loads of dark questions?
Absolutely. I'm sorry I haven't put you in already. Yes. the 255 Brigade WhatsApp group is waiting for you.
It's been lovely to meet and chat with you guys, honestly. And we need 2 Albions in the Premier League.
Would be lovely. Hopefully via the playoffs. That's my plan.
Oh, yes. Have you not done Wembley yet?
Not Wembley yet, no. Rich, thank you, mate. And Alan, thank you very much as well.
All right. Brilliant, Richard. Thanks,
Al. Nice to meet you again.
Thank you, gents, and more importantly, thank you for listening and being with us. Lovely to hear what Richard's job is like at Brighton. Also want to say thanks to the team at Shoot Music, always ready to send Matchday DJs new songs for inclusion on their next Matchday playlist. So if that's you, go look them up, or if you're a band, you can submit tracks for inclusion as well. Till we get our next stadium announcer to come and tell all, keep an eye on the @AnnouncersPod Twitter account. That's @AnnouncersPod. And on Instagram, we are We Welcome Your Teams Pod. See you soon.